Hi, everybody. I hit the go live button. So we are officially starting our spring uniforms webinar. I'm Kelly Walters. Thank you so much for attending and joining today. On the other side of this webinar is Shauna, and she will be taking any questions, making sure that I don't miss anything that you guys have chimed in. And of course, she'll just kind of help guide with links. That way you can easily follow along with what we're decorating and what we're doing. So I always like to get to know those that are attending. So please chat in the chat box where you are streaming or attending from. I'm here in Kansas City, Kansas. So it's always great to see when everybody kind of gets together as one because of something simple like a webinar. The next question is, who is currently already decorating uniforms? I really like to learn kind of what level of viewers we have when it comes to decoration of certain things. So if you are decorating currently for uniforms, whether it's spring or fall, go ahead and just put in your favorite emoji or say I am. And if you aren't, that is quite all right, because that is why we're here. I am going to review 4 different types of sports. Now, one thing to keep in mind is a lot of times it's going to be based on what the material content is. So just because we don't review something that maybe you had a question on, please feel free to chime in and ask about it. And we will also review the materials, why we're using the materials, and exactly how we are decorating and getting all of those measurements. Shauna, correct me if I'm wrong, because we've uploaded this PowerPoint, are they able to download it now?
They should be, and if not, I will send a link in the follow-up email.
Perfect. Okay, so the presentation we're getting ready to do, which I kind of, I don't like the word presentation. It's more of your game book on how to decorate these 4. Feel free to download it at the end. I wanted to be as precise on material or information, but just know a lot of this is information at your fingertips that we also offer, just in a deeper format. Okay, so hello, we've got Georgia, we've got Orlando, we've got Canada, Florida, Colorado. I love it. Carolina, North Carolina, Arizona, everywhere. Okay, and then we've got a newbie, so welcome, welcome. So decorating uniforms, guys, is fairly simple, even though it can be intimidating with numbers and placements, but I'm gonna make it as super, super simple as best as I can. So we're going to go ahead and head to our presentation, and let's get started. So like I said, we are gearing up for spring sports. Now, before we're decorating, the most important thing to do is understand the characteristic of the uniform and what the athlete needs the uniform for. What this is going to allow us to do is choose the best material for what that athlete needs, because certain sports are going to require or benefit from using different types of HTV options. If you don't know what HTV is, that stands for heat transfer vinyl. Now, we know as an athlete, we're looking for an athletic look. Athletic look can also mean having unique materials like glitter or even a reflective material. But at the end of the day, we need to know the performance or the characteristics about that athlete, their sport, and what their uniform is going to do. So things we need to consider, especially right now with poly being one of probably the top material now in uniforms, is performance, dye blocking, and is their uniform consistent of any type of nylon? So nylon is going to be a difficult substrate to decorate on, and this is something we need to pay very close attention to. A lot of times there can be nylon football or lacrosse, even basketball jerseys. All right, so why are these characteristics important? So when it comes to performance, it offers the ability to expand with the uniform and stretch back to the original shape as needed. So I like to kind of use the analogy of a sports bra or leggings or a wrestling singlet. That's going to start out very small. It's going to stretch around the body, but once that item is off, it's going to snap back to its original shape. And it's so important that you're using a material that is going to flex and shape with your substrate. This allows for the logo to stay intact and in good looking condition, because nobody wants a poor looking logo on their uniform. And most performance materials are soft and lightweight. So that is another pro. Dye blocking. So when we're looking at our HTV options, we need to make sure that that red isn't going to come through that white lettering and turn it pink. Or we want to make sure that that purple isn't going to migrate through a yellow and turn it green. So with more and more garments with the potential for bleeding, choosing a dye blocking or even dye inhibiting material will help keep your name and number in their original condition. Dye blocking can come with dimension or flat and have some specific blocking adhesive. So what I mean by that is there are some materials out there, we have them on the printable side, but they actually have a charcoal backing. So if you're printing very, very light colors and you put them on those tricky materials that you know are going to bleed, you have protection, one, against the quality that you've produced, and two, keeping that integrity of the logo. Like I mentioned earlier, nylon, most uniforms are now poly or even a poly spandex, but nylon and nylon spandex is still very much out there. Believe it or not, a lot of Lulu is actually nylon spandex. And there are many, say, dancers or cheerleaders, those that are kind of competing in that spirit side of the world. They'll use Lululemon as their warm-up. And in order to decorate on those, you have to use a nylon friendly material. So on the next portion of that, nylon is a harder textile to decorate, and you must have a nylon adhesive. Just know when it comes to Stahls products, you can actually check on that material online, and it will tell you what friendly substrates are available. So a cotton, poly, spandex, nylon, cordura, like all of that will be listed. If it doesn't say nylon, it's not nylon friendly. So save yourself the time thinking you can trial and error it, see if you can get it to work, because I guarantee you our team has wash tested the heck out of that. And it might adhere for a second, but it will fall off in the wash. So just keep those in mind. And if you ever have any questions on what's the best material to use, then you can always reach out to our customer sales team, and they will definitely guide you down the right path. Okay, so what are we using today? What I've done is in the large or the darker green box, these are the numbers, names that we're actually going to be using when we're decorating our items. Now, the bulleted is a little bit more of the detail on what we'll be using. As we get to the next couple of slides, we're going to start decorating, and I will review all of this with you, but I don't have it listed on each individual slide. So you can actually come back to this or print it out and go, okay, this is what she used here. This was the type of numbers that you can order, etc., and so on. So perforated player perfect. So let's go over a couple of, I'm going to adjust my camera just a little bit as I step back. Let's go over a couple of terms. So perforated player perfect. And I know I am down here in the bottom portion of the screen, but you'll be able to match up with the colors once I come back in full span. So perforated player perfect is this pink right here. There is actually a design in the name and the number, which you'll see here in just a minute. But player perfect means that we are able to put the name and the number as one sheet, press it, and be done. So instead of having 3 different hits, we just have one. Now, just so you know, the template that we'll be using for the left chest was something created in our CAD cut templates. So if you are going after the school market, or you're starting with a team that's like, hey, can you go ahead and decorate our jerseys? And you're not quite sure what type of design to give them, then there are templates that you can actually use on Stahls.com. So you'll be able to see that as well. Okay, so pre-spaced names and numbers, and this is going to be in our silicone material. This is going to give us some dimension. And this is a design that was uploaded in terms of the left chest. But like I said, we'll review that in a little bit further. So I also just realized I don't have the name, but I do have the number. So pre-spaced means that we've removed the top portion of the name, which would make it player perfect. Pre-spaced is that both digits are coming together on one carrier. And again, you're heating one and done. You don't have to worry about aligning anything except from the neck to the number. All right, up next is going to be custom cut, and I do not have the player perfect. It's something that I ended up cutting out on my GS24. So this is just a logo that was done on a cutter. It could either be on a craft cutter or an industrial, or it's something you could upload and do the custom cut option on this. Now, so thermofilm, this is going to be a 2-color design. So we do have player perfect. Okay, so this has our team name and then our number. So again, instead of 6 different hits, we're only going to have 2, and we're going to create that 2-color logo. Okay, last but not least is pre-cut. And that is when you are ordering a chunk of numbers. You still don't want to cut and weed anything in your setting, but you're going to keep these on hand and place them as you need to. So this is Premium Plus. This is going to have some stretch and rebound. It's very, very soft to the touch, lightweight temperature, and you will, you can put these on just about anything today. So what we're doing the pre-cuts for is you can either create a number system. You can use it to actually number out jerseys if you need to. And the beautiful thing about this is you can decorate as needed. So if you don't have a cutter, you're not ready to do that, but you know you want to offer numbers, pre-cuts is an excellent way to keep them on hand, minimal space, and you can still decorate when you need to. All right. Also, guys, if you have any questions, please feel free to throw them in the chat. Shauna is going to let me know if we have any questions. Right now, I can't see the chat box. You can ask them now. You can ask them as we're decorating. And of course, you'll be able to ask them at the end. Just know there might be a little bit of delay. So if you want to get in for a specific question, go ahead and pop it in there. All right, so let's talk placements. Now, this is the beautiful thing about names and numbers. For the most part, what you see on this slide right here is not going to change to whatever jersey you have. So if you're doing a back name placement, you're going to go 2 to 3 inches from the collar. To give you an idea, 4 fingers for me is 2.5 inches. So if you like to work off of systems, Figure out how many fingers for you equal those inches. And of course, if you need to do any adjustments, then you can. I'm sorry I said name and not number at the beginning. So next we've got back number, and then you're going to go 2.5 to 3 inches below the name. So in this particular case, I could go 3 fingers down from the collar for the name application, and then I could turn around and do another 4 fingers down and go ahead and add the numbers. And at the end of the day, that is pretty much what this system is telling you in terms of placement. Front logo center placement is 3 to 3.5 inches. And we kind of follow along with this when it comes to t-shirt decorating as well. But I always say, know the garment you're decorating, because if there is a scoop, if there is a crew, if there is a V-neck, that might adjust just a little bit, seeing that the point of a V-neck is already going to be taking off some inches for you. Front number center placement, there you go. Front number right or left placement. So that would be if you were going like right here, kind of at the stomach. And then you've got the short number placement if you're a little unsure on how to do that as well. So all of these are tips and tricks for you. We don't expect you to just go out there and wing it. There are 2 different type of downloadable documents from Stahls that you can actually download that has the ability to do a variety of different placements, from tees to pants to hats to sleeves. And then there is also a sports document that you can download that is going to give, oh my gosh, it's like, I don't know, it's massive. It's like 20 pages, but it'll be some of the material that we're going to be going over. But it's like the decoration for sports Bible. It's just, there's so much in there. All right, so the we're going to pop in and out of this slide just because we're going to decorate here in just a second. So soccer, right? Those of you that are decorating, who's decorating for soccer? So go ahead and pop that in the chat box. I love stats, and I feel like the more information you can know about a sport or a market that you're going into, the more it's going to empower you to have the confidence to execute the job. So the number of U.S. participants in both indoor and outdoor soccer is on the rise, with more than 15 million players. Always check with local league administrators for information on decorating regulations. So that 15 million players is huge. So if you feel like somebody is taking over a certain market, or maybe you're competing against to get the job, there are so many different avenues, whether it's Pop Warner, it's youth, it's elementary, it's middle school, junior high, high school. There's so many different markets that you can actually go after when it comes to decorating or getting into that market. So this is important for all sports, but always check with your local league administrators for information on decorating regulations. What that means is, can they have a 2-color logo on the front? Can you put a logo on the sleeve? Can you put a logo or a number on the hip? There are some sports that have a very specific logo and numbering placement system. So that's why I say always check with the league administrators. I think volleyball at one point, moons ago, they were kind of adjusting every 2 years. So it was like somebody would get a uniform and they couldn't use it the following year because there had already been changes made to it. So cover what you need and become the expert in knowing the correct decorating regulations. Okay, so right here, what you see, soccer, we are using silicone. Soccer teams love silicone. It gives a raised dimension. It's still very lightweight, even though it's silicone. It also has dye blocking capabilities. So we're covering numerous things. It has a little stretch, a little give. It's more flexibility. It's going to feel a little lightweight on the garment, but you're also getting dimension to it. And you are going to inhibit any type of dye blocking. I might have already said that one, but the dye blocking is huge, especially because a lot is poly. Now, as you can see for soccer, suggested materials would be Premium Plus, silicone dye block, and I would even throw in there Ultra Weed just because of how lightweight it can mimic screen print. It's easy to decorate with. So as you can see, we have a little chart right here, and it says your youth and your adult. Now, this is telling you the size or height of what you should be using. So a 2-inch name for youth, a 2.5-inch name for adult, front, back, and then shorts. And then you can also see that for both the youth and adult sizing. Now, we are going to kind of go through, and then we'll come back. Ooh, can't hit the button. So in each, as you'll see, for each sport, we have done this. And at the end, you'll notice there's definitely some similarities, okay? So let's go ahead and decorate for our soccer team. And as you can see right here, we are going to be decorating a youth garment. So we'll be using a, let's see, we've got a number that is going to be an 8-inch number. That's what this is. We've got a 3-inch number for shorts. And I've actually got a left chest logo that I have cut out with the GS24. All of this is silicone dye block, so our materials are going to cohesively go together and create a really cool look. Shauna, did you have a question?
No questions. I just stopped the slide presentation and made you bigger so they could see you.
Thank you.
Decorating.
Okay, so this is the jersey that we are working with. Okay, this is an Augusta jersey. It's a youth large. It's like highlighter green, so very, very bright. It's got some mesh detail. There's a lot of seams to this. So you can see that there is some color blocking. We've got mesh, and it's not see-through, but it's definitely extremely lightweight. So our number is going to go on the back, right? So we are going to go 2 inches down and then 3 inches down. So we'll go a total of 5 inches down from the back neck collar. There we go. We got it. And that is where we will center our number. Now, instead of having to align these individually, then try to make sure that we've got that finger spacing. Everything is level. This is where pre-spaced comes in handy because all we have to do is make sure it's centered and the carrier is straight as best as possible. To find the center, I just match up the numbers, align the top, and then crease the top part of the carrier. All right, so for silicone, my press shut off because I hadn't moved it or hadn't touched it. So we're using a Hotronix auto clam, and what just happened was I turned my press on 2 hours ago, and because I hadn't used it once, it said night-night and went ahead and shut off. So while this is warming back up, we are going to pop back to the presentation, and then we'll come back and decorate. I don't want to have you guys, hang out for 15 minutes while we go from 215 back to 290. So my apologies on that, guys. Okay, so moving right along next to softball. The American softball registers more than 3.5 million players on over, I can't move me. I should know this. No, I'm in the way. It's okay. On over, I think it's like 245,000, I think is what the name is, softball teams in the States. So It is a very, very large number. Like I said, there's a ton of opportunity out there in sports. So the material that we are using today is going to be CAD-Cut Ultra Weed, the Premium Plus that we talked about earlier, the silicone, still great options for softball. But Ultra Weed is going to be very, very thin, very lightweight. If you're playing in the dead of summer, that's where that lightweight material is going to feel really nice on a breathable garment. And what I love about it specifically is that it can apply at 260 degrees. So the lower the temp, the less likely chance that you have of reactivating those dyes in those poly garments to then initiate dye migration, because we're going to stay at that 260. While Ultra Weed is not a dye inhibiting or a dye blocker type of material, the low application is going to help play along with that dye inhibiting. Okay, so let's take a look at this. This is super, super simple. We're back to a 2-inch name and a 2.5-inch name for adults. The front, if you were doing any type of numbering on the front, would be 3 inches. And on the back, you're at a 6 for youth, and adult is an 8-inch number. You can go bigger. This is just the standard in the industry. So we had an 8-inch for soccer, that was youth, and we had an 8-inch for adult. So if you kept 8-inch numbers on hand, then you have that ability to use that sizing through a variety of different sports. Don't think that you have to carry every single size and every single number when you are going after sports, unless you specifically want to. So softball, you're going to see a couple of other materials thrown in here. There's thermofilm, which is an abrasion resistant. This is our thickest material. And while sometimes the word durable can make it seem like there's other materials out there that are not durable, it's just one that can withstand that contact. It is a tried and true material for us, and it's excellent in so many different sports. But it applies at 320 degrees and it's thicker. So if we're decorating on a really, really lightweight garment, that is why Ultra Weed makes a little bit more sense. All right, poly twill is poly twill. It is twill, and you can actually purchase this with a permanent adhesive, which means it does not have to be sewn. You can order this in a sim stitch or twill numbers, and it's going to really take that uniform next level. That's the elevated version, where Ultra Weed Premium Plus, that's the easy, let's get it done. And some people are preferring the lighter weight versus the twill. We're so close to temp. We're at 260. All right, so the next sport that we're talking about is lacrosse. With over 825,000 players, lacrosse continues to be the fastest growing team sport in both high school and collegiate level. So I love the images right on each one of these slides, because decorating uniforms, there's a standard way, but then there's also new ways that people are, either trying to enhance a garment, make it different from their competitor. That's where the specialty materials can come into play. And if you look at the men's, you've got a 2-color name and number, or team name and number. That is going to be a little bit more of a solid look, something closer to a football jersey, more cut off. But then if you look at the kids, it's more of a mesh style jersey with a 1 color, and they have last name, number, team name. But then if you turn around and you look at both girls, they are in tanks that kind of look like a softball uniform. It's just one of those things where take it if your customer is wanting something done and you have the ability to kind of recommend a different way than what everybody else is doing, go for it. But the 2-color is very, very popular. And as you can see, the front placement for the youth is also different than just doing the team name for the men's. All right, so again, lacrosse, looking at that breakdown, we're at 2 to 2.5 inches. The front is 6, back is 8, shorts is 3 inch, which is almost identical to what the soccer was. So 2 very different sports, very different uniforms and jerseys, but yet we're using the same sizing when it comes to numbers. Now, if you are cutting and you want to cut your own player perfect or team perfect, you have the ability to do that. If you're cutting your own numbers and then storing them away, you can do that. Or you can just cut as needed and really be able to offer whatever you need to. Now, lacrosse is actually going to be thermofilm. That's a typo in this. This is the abrasion resistant. This is the extremely durable, even though they are all durable materials. This is the material that is tried and true. It's thick and it does have a little bit of a texture over it, where it also has a little bit of a sheen. It's more of a gloss. All of the other materials we've talked about are matte. So thermofilm, which you can see in the suggested materials, is the exact same thing as thermogrip. But if your customer has nylon in their uniform, that's when you would switch to thermogrip. So this is where knowing the material and the garment you're decorating is extremely important. Thermofilm, cotton poly. Thermogrip is going to be your cotton poly nylon. And then poly twill is just like what we talked about earlier. It is going to be your twill that you could either heat apply or sew on. All right, we're back up. So let's go ahead and review what we're doing on each garment. Let me see. Oh, Shauna, you beat me again. Okay, so back to soccer, right? We have our pre-spaced, because our numbers are spaced, ordered in both white and black, and this is silicone dye block. So even though we've got a white, if we were to put this on black, which we are not going to have an issue with the black coming through and turning it purple or turning it gray. Black is easy. We don't have to worry about the migration on the line. And then we have our 8-inch numbers for the back. Now, this guy is the one that I cut using, ooh, it's terrible Vanna here, using our GS24. And the detail, I don't know if I can get this to zoom in, on this is excellent. I did use a 60-degree blade. It helped with the really, really crisp, sharp edge right here on the seam. And then, of course, through the, I want to call that braiding, but that's not braiding, on the vine around the crest. So if you do want to get a little more fine detail, this is something that you would have to do in-house. I did submit this for our services, and because everything on the stem, the lines, they would need to fatten this up. So that's where cutting in-house can definitely be more beneficial to you. You don't have certain cutting restrictions or certain line restrictions for our art department. Okay, so I have the tag-along platen on here, and right now this is going to be too small. It's going to stretch going on here. I could put it on here, but I just don't want it to be stretching the garment because this has a little bit of give to it. So I'm going to turn around and use a pillow. And if you're not sure a pillow is going to be good for the design or size of your art, all you have to do is just match it up. Pretty sure this is a square. And see if it will work. And right now this fits right into the size. So I am going to just shove the pillow in our shirt. And then I'm going to lay it on the press. Now, the trickiest part is making sure that your pillow is lined up correctly. Because I've got seams, I want to make sure that everything number-wise is going to fit directly onto that pillow. Now, we need to pre-press. This is also going to help us test our pressure, which silicone is 290 to 302 for 10 to 15 seconds, medium pressure, and it's a cold peel. Because we've added that pillow in there, we are going to need to adjust our pressure just a little bit. If you've never decorated with pillows, the pillows allow for any seams or embellishments to dip into the pillow versus sitting on top and hitting the heating element first. So I am rocking just a little bit high on pressure. Now we're better. Because I pressed a couple of times, that is going to give us a good pre-press. And then from here, because I do not know 5 inches in terms of hand, I can either go, let's see, 4, and then 3, and I know that I want to go here, or I can just take a measuring tape and pull it down. If you have a series of people helping you, there's different ways you can line it up. You can use thermo tape and just tape down exactly where you need to, or just know what that spacing is. For me, that ends up being about a full hand print on where we need to size-wise coming down. Okay, we've already made the crease in our transfer. Now, because my pillow is starting at the front, I'm just going to come in and shift that pillow down. I love using this tag-along platen, and I'm probably going to have to switch it out for the 16 by 20, but we're going to see if we can make it work. Okay, our cover sheet's going to go back over. And then we'll let it cook for 12 seconds. Now, because it's a cold peel, I'm going to pull away from the press, flip it to the front, and we'll go ahead and do the left chest, right chest, and then hopefully be able to kind of keep flowing through in terms of peeling. Okay, so this is our number complete. Now, once that's cool, we are able to go ahead and peel away. So up next, this is when, let's see. I need one more table. This table is holding all my goodies. All right, so I switched to the 16 or the 11 by 15 pillow. And as you can see right here, those seams are going to go directly into that pillow versus sitting on top to where the heating element would hit that first. Okay. This one's going to be a little big. We can also go center chest on this. But the way this lime, black, and white all come together looks really, really nice and clean. All right, so we're doing 2 at once. We're doing the left chest and the right chest. And remember, because it's a two-digit number, because we are using pre-spaced, it's going to be a one and done. So even if you had a full color left chest logo, you can still do those at the same time. I just recommend that they are both either the same application temperature and time, so you're not having to double hit or take the chance on not baking the cake correctly. And what I mean by that is using the correct time, temperature, and pressure. Okay, so we're going to pop the pillow out, set this guy aside. My 23 is definitely crooked. And then next we are going to decorate on some shorts. This is a small, not small pair. This is a youth medium. And in order to order in services, the smallest that you can go in pre-space is 3 inches. So if you are looking at a specialty number, the best thing you can do is make sure that you know what's available prior to you offering to decorate it. So what I mean by that is that's massive, right? So that's really, really big. If this is a 3 or 4 inch number, and that's the smallest that we can go, looking for my tape measure, I had it earlier, then you want to make sure that you're not offering a number pattern or number style of font that's just like this, where you can't get it in the correct size for the bottom. So in terms of a jersey, it's great and easy, but if you are numbering accessories and you're wanting them to match identically, then you've got to know what sizes and what font types are available in certain prints. I'm still putting this on here because as a whole, I love this set together. But this is definitely a youth medium mixed with a youth large. That one popped it up to a 7, which is making it a high pressure or a firm pressure. So we just needed to do a little bit of adjusting in terms of our pressure for this. Now, that's going to automatically pop. These are cool to the touch. So as it's pulling away, it kind of feels like it's stuck, but it's really just the carrier releasing that rubber silicone feel. So again, so if you're working with cold peels, the best thing you can do is press everything that you need to, set it aside, leave it be. Or if you have a system where that was pressing, we know this one was cold, you could go ahead and peel as you need. But most people will just press, set down, and keep moving along. So let's see if I can, the raise, we're just getting raised detail, extremely soft and smooth to the touch. And now we have a pretty cool number that almost looks two-tone because we're incorporating the logo. All right, our shorts with the biggest number ever is going to set to the side. And then next up, we are going to Lacrosse. So for thermal film, we need to be at 320 degrees. It's super, super quick for 6 to 8 seconds. And it's a hot peel. So the beautiful thing about thermal film is it cooks high, but it is on a very quick turn time. And it's a hot peel. In this case, we're doing two different colors, okay? So Team Perfect gives you the ability to put in your team name. There's a couple of different styles that you can choose for your name, fonts, and then you're putting in everybody's number. So instead of having to worry about creating the team name and applying that, and then doing the 3 fingers down and applying the number, this makes it so much easier. Now, as you can see, the A and the N, they're not there's no cavities, and it's because it is our background color. So when it's layered correctly on the garment, we are going to get 2 colors, and it's only going to take a matter of about 14 seconds for us to create this. So if you are one that's like, yep, I need to be doing Player Perfect, Team Perfect all day long, you can upload an Excel sheet, or you can even go in and type in what you need for every person, and then we will cut, weed, send to you ready to apply. All right, so this jersey is by Allison. I might, like I said, I might have to switch her out. Let's see. Okay, we're going to pre-press this. She's got some nice wrinkles in her. Now, I'm going back in and adjusting my pressure because it was way too light. Now, what I'm going to do is set my timer for 3 seconds, and that is going to be able to allow us to just tack down the first layer. And the reason why we want to do this is so we are not overcooking that first color way too much. The tack allows us to get the number and the name on the garment, and then when we come in with the top layer, we'll cook for the entire full time. So that's why I was saying we're going to be able to do this in about 14, 15 seconds because we're not cooking the same for both. Again, finding my center, lining it up. As I talk while a line, it's always off every single time. Okay, so like I said, we're tacking it. This will pop up in 3 seconds. Now, if you feel like that's just truly not enough time, I always recommend testing just to make sure you get it done correctly. You don't want to peel something and then realize that you peeled too soon. And then now you've potentially damaged the garment and the work, the time for the numbers. So this tacked nice and beautifully. So now all I have to do is come in and just align. I'm using my A right in the middle to align this correctly because it has the most cavities and it has a lot of different curves to it. Since I chose that number or that letter and it's close to the middle, everything else just laid really nice on top. So now 6 to 8 seconds is what it's going to completely finish cooking at. And like I said, it's a hot peel. So with this one, once it pops up and we peel, we're completely done. The only time that you would have to keep moving forward is if you wanted to decorate the back and do the same name and number or just the number on that. And now we have a 2-color name and number, or team name, because remember this was Team Perfect. We chose to do our team name, and on the back you could do the last name. Hey, Kathy, I just saw that you said you were late. Better late than never. Okay, so we're setting this one aside. Up next is our softball. So this one is another Allison jersey. And like I was talking about for the lacrosse girl jerseys, is that while this said softball on the item name, this is something that looks very, very similar to one of those lacrosse jerseys. So just know what type of garment that you need. Sometimes some of the pieces can work for a variety of different things. So try to get those specifics from your customer as best as possible. Or if you are unsure and you want to be the expert in what jersey they need, then make sure you just do your research and present them. Hey, your colors are X and Y, and here's what I recommend. Okay, so because we are working with seams again, we're gonna try it. I'm gonna keep trying on this tag along platen, you guys. Technically, because we've got that right here, we've got the sleeve, we should put a pillow in there, so we're going to go ahead and just pop that up. All right, so now that we have correctly used the best accessory for the job, let's pre-press and review those materials. Okay, so this is hot pink ultra weed. It is neon pink, guys. Sorry, not hot pink. So this is a true fluorescent. I don't feel like the camera does a really good representation of the fluorescence tone to this, but it is extremely bright and vibrant. And this was the design that was created from our CAD cut templates. So again, if you're not really sure, you're getting into it, you want to do some type of logo, this was just very, very easy. We're going to make it a left chest. And then this one is, like I said, it's ultra weed. It's 260 to 300 degrees. And we are going to apply for 12 seconds. And it's a hot peel. So right now I'm at 290 degrees. So if you have a garment that is very sensitive, it's going to scorch, or you don't want to reactivate those dyes from creating the garment, you can choose to lower this temperature. Keep that heat off of the garment as much as possible. Hot peel. And then we're going to turn around and go to the back. Now, this back has mesh to it, okay? So it is meant to be breathable, right? If we put a material over this, we're going to cover up the benefit of this garment. It's 95 degrees outside and it's hot as heck. The girls are sweating. What you can use is called Player Perfect. Okay, so that means everything is lined up for you, but you can put perforated effects in it. So this was the first product that was mentioned in those green boxes. This allows you to put some type of perforation. So this is called scanner. There's hexagon. There's micro perf. There's like 4 more others. So not only are we helping that garment stay breathable, we're also giving, right, our athlete some more flexibility in the garment, in their numbers. We're making our job easier because we've got their last name with a double digit. 1 hit and you're done. And it's cool. So this is a really beneficial, updated way to help your customer or your athlete feel cooler, but then also have a trendier garment. So we're loading this one up, lining it up. There we go. Now, because we have this neck yoke, you could put something there. They're blazers, so maybe it's a softball with a flame, or it's just a flame, or maybe it's a softball. Maybe it's their B, but we are going to go ahead and drop down to where their name goes across the back. Because it's a little bit longer, we're going to have to pull this guy forward. And now we can apply for the final 12. Now we're going to keep it on 6 seconds. We're running short on time. We are running hotter, than the 260 anyways. It's going to want that extra 6. So I just went to test to peel it, and it was coming up a little bit. So it does need that 12 seconds no matter what. I was hoping I could peel, but... don't know why this is... It's not peeling, so... nothing like a little trial and error. We're going to hit it again. We shouldn't have any issue whatsoever. We were on medium pressure, 12 seconds. It's a hot peel. I checked my flyer to make sure that I was, in fact, using Ultra Weed because that's what I had ordered. So we're just going to go ahead and hit it one more time. It's still a hot peel. Okay. Well, she doesn't want to be friendly. This one peeled beautifully. I am having just a little bit. Okay, so too hot. What do you know, right? So things like that happen all the time. Don't panic. Just, see what you can do to get it to peel. And then if you have to adjust going forward. The other thing is if you have to peel and go back and tap it for 2 to 3 seconds, it's just fine. It's peeling just fine now. But for some reason, those little edges were just wanting to pop up for me. So here's our left chest. Nice, clean. And on the back, we've got the name. We've got a fun number. And then we've just really added that detail throughout. Okay, so the last one that we didn't go over on the graphic side of things is track and field. Track and field doesn't really need names and numbers. A lot of times, depending on if it's middle school or high school, they'll utilize those numbers for when they're handing out uniforms and keeping track of who has which. So that's pretty much what we're going to do track and field with today. But if you're decorating for track and field, it's important to know what material is going to be great for it. So Ultra Weed, excellent. Low temperature, 260, okay? Remember that. But we're going to use Premium Plus because it has stretch and rebound to it. So the thing that we're doing is we're doing 2 different colors. Premium Plus, we've got metallic gold, and we also have a standard white. This was created in CADWorks Live, cut on the GS24. You can also do it on a Cricut or Silhouette. Easy, 280, low temp. But this is pre-cut numbers, okay? So when you order pre-cuts, you're going to order them just like this. If this was number 44, we would need 2 4s. We would need to align them and make sure they were both straight and correct on the back of a garment. In this particular case, I don't want to line 2 up, right? So that's why we used Player Perfect or Team Perfect. But that doesn't make it wrong. So many businesses utilize pre-cut numbers. They'll order in bulk, stack them for the season, or stock them for the season and use them when they need to. You can also do this with letters. And it just gives you the ability to have a more affordable option for numbering without having a cutter and doing your own pre-spaced or ordering them in basically ready to apply, which would be pre-spaced or Player Perfect. Okay, so we are going to throw this guy on. Now, because of where we're putting the number, we want to use a pillow for sure so our seams of the tank can go right into it. We're using a number 4 right here at the tank portion. And then we are also going to turn around and use our team logo. So this says Sumner Valley Titans. This gives you the ability to do a little bit more of a custom versus a standard block logo. And in this particular case, you would just apply your design or logo as you normally would on any other type of garment. I feel like I'm slightly off here. Premium Plus applies for 12 seconds, 280 to 300 degrees. And we're going to be at a medium pressure, and specifically we are using a high tech, so that means it is a hot peel. Now, there was a carrier on those pre-cuts, so you do have to make sure you remove that. We're going to go just a little bit longer. My power just blew. So, we have to be done applying because I'm going to have to go downstairs and flip the switch. With this, right, let's see if we can get this to cool down. You could just do something simple like that in terms of numbers. You don't have to do anything, you know, like really drastic. It could be simple, but now we're incorporating two different colors into the jersey, just elevating it just a little bit more. See if I can get this to appeal. There we go. So it definitely wanted it to be warm. Now the characteristic on Premium Plus, guys, is the ability for this to stretch. This garment doesn't have a whole lot of stretch in it, even though it says poly spandex. But if you were using something that needed to stretch, you could get those pulls in the logo and it's going to go right back. Now, we did just heat apply this, so I do recommend waiting 24 hours before you do any type of crazy stretch demonstration, but just know that. We got like 2 more slides if you guys want to hang on with me. I know we are over 4 minutes.
There haven't been any questions, Kelly. You've been doing a great job.
Well, I hope I've answered all the questions, but don't be afraid to ask.
Chat them in if you have a question.
Okay, there's just one more. I was just reviewing the slides really quick before I pulled them up. There's just one more that I want to go over, guys. So, next level, right? If you are looking for something different other than just a standard one color design or one color number, both of these, you've got Lacrosse and then you've got a soccer player. She has a full color crest and he has a full color design on the front. So do not be afraid to show your customer that you can do full color capability, whether it's twill, whether it's our new Ultra Color Max, which is a direct to film transfer. And then we have CAD prints, which is a full color or printable heat transfer vinyl. One of those, which is the CAD prints, gives you that charcoal capability on the back. So if they are putting it on the red, like you can see there's a Titan, and you're not going to have his helmet eventually turn pink. I think they would prefer it stay in that blue and white kind of gradient to give that dimension. The next thing to, keep in mind, guys, is the dimensional logos are here. They're not going away. They are very, very apparent in the sports industry, and our pro teams are using them more. So if it's headwear, if it is on bags, if it's on team gear to and from, and then, of course, spirit wear, make sure you're giving them the ability to upgrade. That means a higher perceived value on their garments. That means more money in your pocket, because if you're creating something different and unique, then that warrants a higher price. So as I open it up for any potential questions, the one thing I really want to also leave you guys with is spirit wear. We weren't decorating any of that today, but the power of spirit and teamwear is extremely strong. It doesn't have to be elaborate. It could be simple. This is actually CAD cut soft foam and glitter flake. So there is a layer of soft foam with a second layer of glitter flake, and then an outline of soft foam. So we've created dimension. We've taken that vintage traditional look and added a little bit of flair to it with the glitter flake. But this suits and fits a variety of different people without it being just glitter flake. It's still very, very athletic in mentality. And then the next thing is to remember locations, right? So this is a hoodie where we've decorated the hood, we've decorated the front, we've come in and decorated each sleeve with a player number as well as the pocket. Now this is Ultra Color Max, and if you have any further questions on this, then definitely either get with your rep, ask the questions in Heat Press for Profit. You can ask them here, but this can take a little bit more time to dive into, so I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. But this is just a basic gilded hoodie, guys, and we've now put 5 different logos and we've customized the heck out of it. So don't leave that opportunity for somebody else to snatch up because you didn't offer spirit wear. So thanks so much for tuning in as I lost my light. But so we've got track, we've got lacrosse, okay? We've got our softball. And last but not least, we have our soccer. And just to show you, this one has some stretch and rebound, but again, it's the garment itself. And my favorite of the day is the massive shorts. The shorts with the massive number. You will not lose those. So, okay, any questions?
Yeah, there is a question about, Karen asked if blowing the electrical outlet is something to consider. And Yvonne did answer that it is recommended to plug into a dedicated 20 amp receptacle. So thanks for throwing that answer.
Yes. So there was something else running at the same time, and very, very much so, I cannot stress the importance of the correct outlet, wattage, amps, all of that, because you guys literally just got to witness what happens if too many things are going, and nobody wants that. Karen, so is blowing the electrical outlet, if you are correctly set up electrical wise, it will not happen. Because I am in a studio office, and like I said, there was something else running at the same time that was not supposed to be running, and it took it. Let's see. Okay, I think that's it. Shauna, anything?
I don't see.
All right. Okay, guys, thanks for hanging out with me an additional 10 minutes. I really, really appreciate it. And go out. Don't be afraid to get the school market. And I guarantee you, if you are uncertain about something, there is somebody in the Heat Press for Profit group on Facebook that will help guide you. It's an incredible support group in there. And then you have the Stahls and Transfer Express team that are also very, very eager to make sure that you're set up for success. So don't be intimidated by it. Just go out and do it, and you'll the first time it's done, you'll be like, whoop, that was easy. So thanks guys, I'll see you later.